I noticed that this series would have 6 episodes, but it's getting harder to make these episodes. And I keep coming up with ideas for other episodes that I want to get to quickly. So I am taking this series down to 4 episodes. And we are on the 3rd one. This one will be about Australia. Let's start. The colony of New South Wales is created by Great Britain in Australia. Now, New South Wales took up most of the eastern half of Australia, and it took almost all of New Zealand. They said these were the proper borders of the Pacific Ocean, which is why they made these ugly straight borders. Then Macquarie Island, which is recently discovered, is claimed by New South Wales. New South Wales is then extended westward, but they lose land in New Zealand because they decided that the Pacific Ocean now ends there. They keep finding different ways to show the Pacific Ocean. Now this next part's going to be a pain. This is probably going to be the longest part of the video. You don't really need to know this. All you really need to know is that from this came 6 colonies. So the colony of Van Diemen's Land is formed from New South Wales. And then the Swan River colony is proclaimed in the areas of Australia west of New South Wales, which is renamed Western Australia. The province of South Australia is formed from New South Wales. The whole of New Zealand is annexed to New South Wales. The colony of New Zealand split from New South Wales. Norfolk Island is transferred from New South Wales to Van Diemen's Land. The colony of North Australia is formed from the northern half of New South Wales. The colony of North Australia is merged back into New South Wales, making the entire thing pointless. The colony of Victoria is formed from the southeastern corner of New South Wales. Van Diemen's Land is renamed Tasmania. Norfolk Island split from Tasmania, becoming its own colony. The colony of Queensland is formed from the northeastern third of New South Wales. That was tiring. Okay, so from now on, we're just going to see mainly border changes. So South Australia is extended westward to Western Australia, taking land from New South Wales. Queensland is extended west to the 138th meridian east, taking land from New South Wales. Poor New South Wales is losing a ton of land. Then the region of New South Wales, north of South Australia, is transferred to South Australia. Yeah, that's just kind of sad. Then we see Australia turn into a federation and become independent on New Year. Now you might be wondering, then why is Australia Day celebrated on another day? Well, I think people would rather celebrate New Year than Federation Day, which is why they use another day. Anyway, the Commonwealth of Australia is formed by these 6 British colonies, which become states. Then British New Guinea is transferred by the United Kingdom, becomes the territory Papua. The Federal Capital Territory split from New South Wales, and the Northern Territory split from South Australia. Then Nauru and New Guinea are mandated to Australia by the League of Nations. The Northern Territory split into the Territory of Central Australia and North Australia. Parliament begins in meeting Canberra and moves the capital there. Yeah, they actually kind of moved their capital a lot because they couldn't really decide on a place to put the capital since there were so many colonies, each with a very popular city, and they kept squabbling about which one would be better. Eventually, they settled on a neutral city, Canberra, because it wasn't really a popular city. Now we close into the 20th century. The United Kingdom transfers a large part of its claim in Antarctica to Australia, where it becomes a territory. There's also a tiny part of the British claim that also goes to New Zealand. And no, it's not the part between the two parts of the Australian territory. That is French territory. I don't know why they just did that. They could have not split their territories in half. Anyway, World War II happens. The Japanese capture Nauru, and then they surrender. The Trust Territory of Nauru becomes independent as the Republic of Nauru. Papua New Guinea becomes independent as the independent state of Papua New Guinea. Not a state. Like, there's two different things between states, so I can make an entire video. And that's essentially it. Now, I didn't actually tell how the entire thing worked and how they got all their island territories, but that's essentially all you need to know about the territorial evolution of Australia. Stay tuned for next week where I show the final episode of this series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.